says Eileen looks like Wonder Woman.
This time I'll call the meeting to order of the Public Utility Commission. Ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You have anything to say, Ms. Bickford? You're all the public we have. Having nothing to say, any correspondence? No correspondence. I don't know where the hell Andrew is. Minutes of the meeting for the regular meeting from October 5th. Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of October 5th.
I will second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. I'll move the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Old business.
Abstention.
Abstention? Okay. Old business. Let's see what Andrew has for old business.
I don't think anything's been over the past month. I think they just want something that there until it's completed.
That was the metering on for the
That's where they had they disconnected the sprinkler, but they never disconnected it out in front of the building. And Andrew had some worked out with them. I can't remember what it was. You talked about it last month's meeting. But that's
He didn't answer his
I don't
phone.
think there's been any action on that.
He was upstairs.
Bob, is Andrew going to be here?
He's supposed to be, yeah. I don't know why he's not here. It's 3 minutes after. So we'll just, here he is. My phone's ringing back. Hey, Andrew. Yeah, 101 Worcester Street. Anything new? No, that has nothing to do with the water and public utilities. All right, where are you? Hey, bye. On his way. Must have been in the bathroom. 101, the water. Sprinklers,
Sprinklers,
Worcester Street,
yes. They are
Kenny Mechanical,
Mulvaney.
Mulvaney, I know it
Mulvaney.
started with an M.
Yep. Nothing new happened with them. They were going to get back to me with their
Carry it forward.
decision.
Engineering Utility Consultant Report, grants,
How about the water and sewer financial side?
financials, you got them?
I grabbed what I could find from Tracy's out today, so sorry about the, let me see. Might need to make copies. So I've been really short-staffed. Here's the sewer, here's the water. I only have one copy of each.
Do you want me to go make
Sure. Want to come back to these?
Engineering and Utility Consultant Reports, we'll come back to financials.
Grants, the only grant we've got going is the water tank. We received a letter today from Wright Pierce, the engineering study, update to the engineering study that analyzes Danbury's alternatives that they wanted us to consider putting the water tank further onto our Eureka property. Wright Pierce did an engineering study on that, basically looking at $800,000 additional dollars to put in additional transmission main, low pressure pump station, electrical improvements, new generator, I mean, all kinds of stuff that goes along with what Danbury wants. So what we're going to do is send this letter to Danbury, this report to Danbury, ask for their feedback, and I anticipate Danbury's just going to say, well, we think that that's a viable alternative for Bethel, and then we'll turn to
That increases the price by how much?
$830,000.
I thought,
It increases it by that much?
It increases it by that much.
So the tank, instead of being $1.2 million, will be
1.2.
$2 million.
I
So it's
thought,
not viable.
Not viable. It's not reasonable anyway.
I thought that
You don't know how.
the state allows us to go forward with it regardless from a legal
Well,
point of view.
that...
Where did you get
what-
that idea?
Here from this meeting,
What meeting?
the meeting that we had on when we were discussing it.
The DPUC would prefer that the town and the city work out the differences. That's their preferred approach. If Danbury comes back and says, well, that's great that it's that much more money, we think you should do that. We think you should spend $800,000 more, and we'll say no. And then we'll say, we'll build it if you pay for it. But it's not feasible either, because we still have to operate it. We have to maintain it, the pump station that is. And it's just, it's not fair to the town to make us change all of our facilities up when we could use our existing pumps in our well field to fill the tank, keep the system flush with water. Very little change, no change in the gradient, no pressure reducing valves, none of that stuff.
You're looking at $1.5 million increase. You know what that'll do to your rates?
They'll go up.
Is there a way to put it deeper in the ground so that 14-foot
No.
gets lower so they can't see it?
It's ridiculous, no. It's one thing to do, you just take them on in court. Not my problem.
We've got, that's not something they were interested in us examining. They just wanted it moved far from where we were showing it. We told them at the site meeting in October, I explained to Danbury, we can't move the tanks any further back because they're getting into where our transmission mains are. And I have to support those, and you have to make sure you don't, and it's just, we don't want to go there. We picked the best spot for that tank. We didn't pick that spot to annoy the neighbors. We moved it as far back from the road as we were comfortable and keeping away from our transmission mains. And it's at the right elevation, it's low profile, it matches the grading of the clear well, so we can use the entire depth of the tank. It matches the clear well. It's just, it's hydraulically ideal. And for them to throw up this roadblock is just, absurd. So, we'll see where it goes. We're going to send the letter to Danbury. We'll ask for a response back.
Maybe you can work with Mr. Bartlett. Work with all your representatives.
Well, what happens if Danbury, suppose if you get to an impasse, and that's just it?
Well, that's what the DPUC is there for.
That's why you're there. You're there already. We were there a long time ago. Build it where you designed it.
But the DPUC on the state level, you're saying?
Yeah, well,
intervene?
let's assume Danbury tells us that they think that it's an appropriate amount of money to spend to get the tank where they want it. We'll turn to the DPUC, say we don't want to spend $850,000 more. We want to put the tank where we originally designed it. Danbury wants us to put it over here. What do you think? And then we'll abide by DPUC's decision.
Okay, and then if
Didn't DUPC,
Either, well, or appeal it to a higher authority.
didn't they approve this originally?
DPUC doesn't get involved unless there's a situation like this.
It's Health Department approved it.
Department of Public Health.
Public Health approved it.
Public Health,
Yeah.
okay.
That's why we're in court. That's what I've been handling for the last 6 months. Not my problem anymore. Stony Hill Sewer Project.
Well, we just signed another easement today, but this is for the lower part of
That was
Payne
for
Road.
Phase 2.
Yeah, we are getting closer with the Adams Drive, Riley and Weinkauf. We've had.
What I would suggest is Counselor file the papers and take it. That would be my suggestion.
I don't know
Are
if
you
you
at
have
a
an
point
update
where
on
you can do
Riley's.
that through eminent domain?
We simply file the notice of taking to acquire the easements, and then the subsequent litigation resolves the payment or compensation to be given to the property owner.
Where are you at this point? You have either one of them signed at this point?
They're going to sign together, pretty much.
So you have nothing signed? The answer is no, I've got nothing signed.
We have nothing signed.
From Weinkauf.
How long would it take you to take that so we can have our Ludlow start the work?
Probably as long as it'll take. I'm sorry for interjecting here, but as far as I know, Riley has the landscape person coming to look at it and the appraiser coming to look at it, and then he'll be okay with it. He knows where it's going. We've shown him which trees are coming down. He was not happy with some of the trees that are coming down.
How long has he been holding us up?
He made an agreement with...
It's real simple. How long, months-wise, has he been holding us up?
When did you first speak with him?
Oh, God.
You reached,
12, 15, 18?
It's been...
you reached an agreement with him in August and thought you were done.
Yep.
So since that time, there's been an unpleasant surprise. So there's 3 months we've been held up. 2 weeks ago, they got a landscape architect and an appraiser out to the property. We're waiting.
Let me be real clear then. If you file the paperwork, we can drop a shovel tomorrow morning.
Yes, yes.
That's a fact.
When we file the notice of taking, we immediately have the interest, we immediately have the easement.
And then it becomes a litigation factor down the road.
As to the dollar amount for the compensation we pay.
I would make a motion to file the paperwork to take the property through eminent domain. Do I have a second?
And this is with respect to Weinkauf and Riley's?
Yes.
I'll second it to discuss it because I'm an adamant, I hate the thought of eminent domain. This goes against all my libertarian principles. So, but I think we should discuss
The motion's been made and seconded.
I'd like to discuss it.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah. Well, by them, if you say that you figured something was done by August, and then you're getting an unpleasant surprise, and now this, August, September, October, November, is this holdup diffusing costs upon all the other people on this line?
Absolutely.
I mean, costs are accruing to the other, are costs accruing to the project by this delay that is being borne by people who are on board?
It would be more so, I would say yes, but it would be more so if there was no other work going on. But there's other work, and Ludlow's able to shift around to work like north of 84 on phase 4.
Well, we just moved, if you think about it, we had to move that in. We had to move phase 4 into phase 3 now at this point to continue to keep them working. It's at a point where it's going to hurt us and cost us money. It's going to cost people in Stony Hill money. It's going to delay the project. They've had 18 months to make their arrangements.
Oh, thank you.
And that's why I made the motion.
But who's done, the negotiating has been between you and these people?
Pretty much.
Or Bill? And if you've been talking to these people at all? Do you think is there any hope of some sort of reasonable give and take on each side, or are they hell-bent on something that, do they put the project at a point where it can't go forward without
Thank you, Kel. Yes, sir.
them giving something?
In order to complete that, as far as the configuration goes, I'll defer to Andrew, but both Weinkauf and Riley are on the same link of the project. So to lay the pipe in that area, you do need both of them.
It's an interior driveway. You got to run down the middle of the interior driveway to bring the sewer main down there.
Yeah.
Their laterals will get hooked in there. I don't know what we're actually giving them. One of them, I think, wanted his roof done as part of the easement. I mean, they're ridiculous.
It's pretty much come down to we're going to replace their driveway. They're getting a sewer hookup because of the amount of disturbance. They're much more disturbance for them than other typical easement owners. And we're trying to work out a deal with the trees because they're losing a number of large trees in their that provide screening and provide shade and things like that. So we're trying to work something out with them on that as well. And that, I think we've gotten to the point where, it's just a matter of...
Joyce Kilmer's dead.
It's just a matter of them being Weinkauf is ready to sign. He also put the stipulation, he wants to confirm that everyone upstream is on board with the stormwater improvements, and that we're in the middle of that. We're going to get that as well. So we're going to improve the piping coming down from La Fortuna, because that goes right through their yards, right in between. So it's all coming together right there. So they want to see that we're going to take care of that at the same time we take care of the sewer pipe. And we are going to do that. Either Ludlow will do it, or if the timing is right, our highway department will do the drainage work.
So what was the surprise in August? Like,
Well, I think what Bill was referring to is just the request for the appraisal. I think Riley didn't understand how much more of the easement was on his property as opposed to his neighbor's property. I think he was under the impression that they were like 50-50 affected, but it's like an 80-20 effect. And he didn't understand that from looking at the maps before, and it didn't dawn on him until we showed him we had given him the drawings before, but it didn't dawn on him that most of the easement was his.
Andrew sent, if I can jump in, Andrew sent an exhaustive letter to Mr. and Mrs. Riley laying out the terms of the agreement that they had reached, and correct me if I'm wrong, approximately in August, I think it was.
Yeah, it was somewhere on there. Been saying we're around the corner for a long time.
And specifically addressed the restoration of screening and things of that kind. That deal is not off the table. Mr. Riley has a brother who's an attorney in the southeast portion of the state who called up and said, listen, we got to get an appraisal, we have to get a landscape architect out there. And I said, we reached an agreement some time ago. Where is this coming from? And he said, well, we want to get an appraiser out there to understand the damage to the property. And I said, you've got to understand, we're not talking about above ground changes to the property. The easement will prevent you from utilizing some portion of the property for building, but beyond that, it's going to be restored. Read the letter that Andrew sent. He said, well, listen, if we are convinced that it won't diminish the value of the property, then it's pretty simply a question of talking about what landscape architecture should be done. Again, this is something we've been discussing for months, and Andrew had reached an agreement. So they did send out a landscape architect, they did send out an appraiser, and we're waiting to hear back from them as to whether the appraiser has the view that it's not going to have a significant impact on value, because I explained to the attorney that we are not paying damages. We're already agreed to undertake significant restorative work on this property. So he is looking for the results of what, and apparently the landscape architect suggested even something less extensive than what the town was prepared to do by way of screening and restoration would get the job done. He's looking for a basis on which to tell his brother, listen, just go with this, let's get it done, because you're not going to have to diminish value. If that's what the appraiser says, then I think we'll get it wrapped relatively quickly. If the appraiser says, well, yeah, this is a good project, but we think we're probably going to lose a little value because of the restrictions on what we can do with the property, then we might be eyeball to eyeball again, because we are not paying the dollars. And that is where it is as of this moment. We're waiting to hear back the report from the appraiser and the landscape company.
Do you think that eminent domain proceedings, voting on that, would be premature before you get that little piece? Because it's such a nuclear bomb to inflict on somebody.
If I hear back from the attorney that there's either no diminution in the value or there's not enough of one for them to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on attorney's fees, my expectation would be that that would put an end to it. But our expectation was that this would be done a long time ago, so there's no assurance. And so, of course, the conversation we always have is, where are we in the project? Where are we with respect to the deployment of Ludlow? and to what, if you need X period of time more to find out whether this is really it or not, what does X period of time do to both?
Ludlow's out of town on Phase 3. We're moving Phase 4 into him to keep him here so we can get Phase 3 done. The only thing they really have left is this easement and the pump house. That's it. So either you take it or you let them dangle, and if you let it dangle, it's going to affect the sewer project, which is probably over already. But it's going to create a problem. So you either, any more discussion on it or no?
Well, is there a way to contact them in a way?
Billy, we've been contacting them for a year.
What I'm saying, is there a way to say to them, within 24 hours, if you don't do X, we will take eminent domain? I mean, this is, you're in the electric chair.
If you
Is
would
there a
like
way to
that
say
done,
you're-
Bill, I can amend my motion to say,
Well, you're strapped in.
notify them and let them know in 24 hours.
Well,
that they would-
listen, I would at least let them know if they don't come to a decision.
I will
it's gonna-
amend my motion to say, file the paperwork after giving them 24 hours notice that you're going to do so. Do you want to amend your second?
24 hours, that puts us to Columbus Day, Veterans Day. Is that going to put us on a holiday or some sort of?
24 hours, which is a working day.
But can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
That you change it to Monday the 16th. In other words, we don't
Monday
have
the
signed-
15th.
We don't have signed documents by Monday the 16th.
Or,
Then we'll go to eminent domain.
okay.
That gives them a whole week.
My motion is so amended. Is your second so amended?
I'll second that motion. That motion.
You
I'm
amend.
so emotional.
You amend your
I'm
second.
so emotional about this.
So having both of them done, I am too.
No, this is awful, too.
You know,
Yeah.
you're talking about 1,200 people on a project, 1,200 situations that need to be rectified. Can 2 people hold you hostage? This is a public project. It's a sanitary project. It's not taking land for a private development in New London,
I understand.
all right?
I know.
So with everything being amended, is there any more discussion? Hearing no more
Can you read
discussion.
the motion? Can you read what we're voting on? Just read the motion back to me.
To notify Weinkauf and Riley that we will take their property by eminent domain if they cannot reach an agreement by the 15th day of September.
16th.
16th of November.
15th day of November.
That's a Sunday.
16th. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, then you'll take it on Monday if we don't have something by Sunday.
By Sunday.
Is that legal when you use a Sunday? Do they do things like it on Sunday?
It's,
The old blue laws would have said no, but now you can't.
you can now.
Billy,
Okay.
you
I
got
don't know,
gay
I-
marriage. I mean, you know what I mean? Nobody respects Sunday anymore.
All right.
They don't respect the Bible with the fact of gay marriage.
All right.
I want to make it the 16th, just so we have that one last day to bring them in. Monday.
Well, you can make it the 17th, you can make it the 18th. Well, you're either going to take it or you're not going to take it.
Do it a business day.
I'll amend the motion and amend the amendment of the motion to make it the 16th. Mrs. Smith, can you read the motion back?
Yeah, they're really, it's a little, well, notified Riley and Weinkauf that they have until November 16th.
At 5 p.m.
End of business day on November 16th, otherwise town council will be filing the paper to take it over.
And you amended yours to amend to the amend to the amend. Billy, you're second.
I'm still seconding this amended motion.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll move the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let it show that it was unanimous. Is that it for Stony Hill Sewer?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, they have started,
Easements Phase 3, we're there?
Can we go back to Stony Hill Sewer for a second?
Sure.
I've asked this question before of Andrew. The houses across the street from the Cowa Circle that are down below the first row of houses.
Yes.
Is there anything, are we working on that part of the
We
project?
just signed the easement today.
we just signed one more easement today. We've got 2 more people that have signed easements in the past for the other sewer main. We just haven't been able to get them, well, we got one of them coming in this week. Zell's coming in this week, and the other one is wasn't a problem. It's just a matter of, it's a problem getting in touch with them. it's phone tag, right? So we have everything else that we need.
And then we'll start construction on that?
We can just, yeah, Ludlow has the plans. They know what we're putting in there. And they'll just go in and...
People signed today where we're putting that substation in, right? Right?
The people that signed today are the ones right on Shelter Rock Road.
Yeah, that's where the substation's gonna go, the pump station?
No, everyone has to have a little pump.
Yeah, I know, but isn't there what the hell's it called? There's one location where they'll all feed to them. No?
They're all going to have a pump into a common force main.
Force main. All right. Any other questions?
Hopefully that work will take place in, or the easements will get both of them this month, and they'll do the work
That's actually phase 2.
next month.
Yeah, but can we start the assessment process then on that after they're finished, or is that?
I think, yeah.
Yes.
We also have the one piece of phase 2 that still needs to be resolved is coming from Hawleyville. Got to connect Hawleyville to Route 6, and that's another.
Oh, okay.
That's another issue where we've got the one property owner who owns the building that's willing to grant us an easement, and then the one who's got the empty lot is complaining. I guess he's been harmed by he feels he's been harmed by the town in the past in the permit process, and whether it's for a zoning permit or inland wetlands permit, I'm not sure.
So once that is done, you're saying that we can do the assessment?
Yeah, I think we can. Barry said we can. If I don't quote, well, you can quote me, but I could be wrong on this. But Barry said that we can go out for the assessments after he bonds for it, knows what the interest rate is, because he's doing that this month. Right. My understanding, to get a good interest rate.
We're going out for $17-18 million on rebond on top of $39 million.
It's a big one.
Andrew, what about the pump station on Dibble Aquifer there, was it Walnut Hill?
Yeah, they started the footings for the above-ground structure today. The wet well's in place.
They started working on it 2 weeks ago. Wet well's in place, and now they start for the
Piping's in,
structure.
the electrical, all the stuff is pretty much into the site now. You'll see a building coming up in the next few weeks.
It was sort of muddy there.
It's coming along. The worst of it's over.
Really?
The worst of it's over, except for the dredging of the pond. I mean, that's going to be a
spring job.
That's yeah.
Actually, next summer's the time.
Summer's the time to do it. Try to tie it in with the road work. Get it done before the road.
That's it for Stony Hill Sewer and the easements on phase 3, right? They're out of there. You're talking about phase 2 easements over there as far as assessment. Supervisor's report. Thanks for coming in today, Kel. You made a difference.
I actually have very little, with the exception of the vehicles. Problem with the vehicles, we finally got that straightened out. I have taken over Andrew's old vehicle that we purchased back in August. Well, you know from last month that my Blazer, the engine went down in the Blazer, so it wasn't worth putting any more money into it. We were able to purchase a 2006 Uplander to replace the van that I was originally trying to replace for $5,000. It's got high miles on it, but it's just what we need. So right now I have the van and the Blazer and also an old military trailer sitting over at Paul Street that I'd like to have permission from the board to go out with sealed bids to sell them off. It's the same thing we did about 3 years ago to get rid of some of the vehicles. And whatever money comes in from that, I'd like to put back into the maintenance, the vehicle maintenance account, because that's where I took the $5,000 from to purchase this van. But we're back on track.
Are the titles in the name of the Public Utility Commission or the Town of Bethel?
I think they're the Town of Bethel.
Then it has to be done by the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, I will check on that. I'll check with Frank tomorrow.
On the 2 purchases.
Other than that, we're moving forward. We got a project going on at the well field. One of the wells needs to be maintained by SB Church. They'll be coming out hopefully next month to do some upgrades to the well. Just basically, there's a couple bearings leaking and stuff like that. So they're going to. It hasn't been maintained in over 10 years, so they're going to be coming in.
Well, number one.
I think it's the back one. I think the back one. No, you're right. It is the front one. Yes,
It is the back one.
number
It's down at the ball field.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah. But other than that, we're trying to do as many upgrades as we can to get things back online. Other than that, we're in good shape. The crew's been out there putting manhole lids on all through Walnut Hill and Benedict. So we're, and again, last month they were out there on Payne Road doing the same thing. But we're right at status quo. Everything is moving.
The vehicle that you purchased, is that a town vehicle as far as, or the water department?
It's a utility department. It's purchased by half and half. So
It was owned by the town, the lease was up, the utility department bought it from the leasing company.
We did have for Andrew's old vehicle, we had that put into capital to the line outlay. Okay, that's where that money came from. But we're getting there. Okay. Any questions for me?
Yes.
Speak to me.
The Plum Trees pump.
Everything is running fine. Actually, I think Andrew could probably speak better on Plum Trees. But right now, we're at status quo. Both pumps are working. We're moving forward to get it redone out of the original wet well as we had talked about one day. We've been in contact with Kovacs and with URS to get the two concerns working together, basically through the design and the actual work itself.
Yeah, I received a proposal from URS on the work. I met with them out at the site.
For the engineering?
Yes, for the engineering, for the design portion. They submitted a proposal for, I believe, $49,000 to handle all the engineering design and, right through the...
Have you gone out to any other engineers?
No.
I think you should do that. URS is in a position where they think they kind of own you. You may want to contact a couple other engineering companies, find out if they want to bid on it. You don't necessarily have to do that because it doesn't come under really the town charter. You got a private, public utility here, which is a whole different animal. But I wouldn't trust URS implicitly.
Well, do we need a vote on that? Or is that just a suggestion, or is it policy?
I think I can direct them to do that.
Yeah.
If you didn't want it done, you could definitely make a motion to not do that and accept URS.
No, I wouldn't. I would just, from my thinking, it would make sense to get some
I think like you think.
So
We can do that.
But,
It's not a big deal. I mean, it's, Kelly, as you said, status quo there. I mean, the concern was after Kovacs finished, the concern was this thing, we don't know how long it's going to last. And I certainly don't have a lot of confidence after being out there and seeing the way things are put together.
Educated guess to put that pump station back together, we're looking at a couple $100,000.
Higher.
even higher.
That's why you don't want Danbury to tell you where to put $800,000 more into your tank. Because you're right, you're already broke here. The Public Utility Commission is broke. You can look at financials all you want, we've been broke for 4 years. You're about to assume over $2 million worth of debt. It will be dispersed amongst 3,700 water customers and 4,755,000 sewer customers. The administrations coming forward aren't going to be able to hold that wolf from the door.
So the
There's only one of us
rates,
going to be here next
the
month.
rates have got to go up. You're looking at, again, another series of rates.
The town is facing a serious financial crisis in the next 2 years.
But with these added costs, the pump and the potential for the thing,
$2 million
well, but don't we have...
divided by 7,000 over 20 some odd years. top of what you're paying already, and on top of whatever maintenance or anything you have to do going forward. And you're not going to be able to hold the line on Phase 4 of the sewer.
So nobody knows about this?
Everybody, we've been
Yeah,
here
but I'm
for
saying
4 years.
nobody in the public has a sense that they're looking at water rates that are going to have to keep going up.
Well, I think we were going to double rates a couple of years ago. That's
Yeah.
what the recommendation was.
From what
to
We
double.
brought them up
And then
40%,
we went up to 20%
and we need to go
at a
up
time.
100.
Right.
And then, so it's just taking longer to catch up, and we're still going to be in a hole 5 year. You know, that was assuming some additional capital improvements, but that's not taking into everything into account that can happen.
Right.
And what can happen is happening.
Right. Like the plum trees, for
Yeah, the
example,
plum
or
trees, I mean,
something.
that's-
Yeah.
You have more than that. You have a lot of asbestos lines still in this stuff.
The recommended rate schedule is never fully implemented either. So,
You've only got 40% of the recommended rate schedule implemented.
And that's as it goes, because those future increases to get to that are looming, right? They're in
there.
They're in the look, but they don't go up till a certain
Billy,
date.
it's a nursery rhyme. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And elections happen every 2 years, and people lie like hell. Now it's time for them to stand tall and prove it.
And I don't know this is different from the election though. This is all stuff that
part of it.
This predates all that. I mean that. Well, I guess we'll do the best we can and muddle on somehow as we do. We
You ain't
won't
going to have to
die.
worry about it. You're going to be on the other side now. Believe me,
I don't doubt
there's
that.
nobody that's going to reappoint you.
No, I don't doubt that.
I think we're through with the easements and phase through and the supervisor's report. So we go back to the financials. You have paperwork, gentlemen. Any questions? I'm glad the camera's rolling because it documents everything. Want me to stand up and say, oh, what a tangled web we weave? Any questions? Comments?
It's kind of hard to go through it so quickly. I mean, I can't, maybe at the next meeting, we could discuss what's in this particular package, but
I'm sure Tracy would have sent this out on Friday. She's been out sick the last few days.
Have you talked to Barry at all as far as doing what we've been always requesting, or
He doesn't talk to him, I do. He works for me.
have you talked to him then?
I mentioned it to him. He didn't feel well. He's coming back tonight, so he wasn't here today.
All right.
He's limited to the amount of hours he can work, and he's limited to what his health allows him to work.
Right.
Well, it just
If you would like to make an issue with that in the future, you're certainly welcome to.
well, I don't know.
We'll give you his lawyer's name.
It does seem, it just seems, I mean, of course, I'm the newest guy in the block, but it just doesn't seem like we're ever going to get Barry here. I don't think, it's like that play Waiting for Godot, you know? It's just like one of those existential plays where you're waiting for somebody.
Town of Bethel owes Barry Carino a Congressional Medal of Honor. That man single-handedly has saved this town millions of dollars. And he's about to add $700,000 into the coffers once again. I mean, that's just a rough estimate. Barry Carino has earned his way here. we're going out for bonding, and we have the best possible ratings
What you're going to save by shopping.
by Standard & Poor's that anybody's ever had.
But that thing fails again for another.
And it's due to Barry Carino, a lot of hard work the last few years.
Then you suppose you shop.
Well, I've known Barry for 25, almost 25 years, and I don't want to diminish his work or reputation or anything, but I do think that given the complexity of a budget like this, it would be good to have somebody that can explain it to the commissioner.
Basically, there's no complexity to the budget. We don't charge enough money, so we don't have enough money. So therefore, the town of Bethel's general fund supports the Public Utility Commission until collections come in to pay back the general fund. And they've been sliding it back and forth for 20 years.
That's right.
Is it wrong? No. Is it illegal? No. Is it a good business practice? No. But it's what we inherited when we got here. And unless the public utility actually takes a large bonding issue, so they create their own general fund, that's the way you're going to have to continue. Now, you do have the choice to sell your public utility commission, and I'm sure your next administration will definitely look at that.
I think original intention is to close that.
All right? Because they're in charge. And with them being in charge, they send it to the people, and the people will decide. And what do the people do when it comes to raising the taxes just a little bit?
Well, sometimes they vote no a little bit, but a lot of times a little bit of a tax increase does get through. The big tax increase is, we'll see what happens. Would the whole town vote on a proposal to sell the utility commission, or just the?
I believe, Counselor, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think that the customers, who are the holders, have the right to decide to sell the public utility, or is it the whole town? Basically, it's financed by the town, so it's a hairy question.
Public Utility Commission is a separate legal entity. It's not like a corporation in which the users are shareholders. So, I mean, the power to sell and dispose of assets come from the statute, and not purely by the vote. But it's distinct from the town.
So, I mean, a vote of this commission in a future date and proposal could vote to sell the, or would it have to go to a referendum for the public at large?
I would have to, I don't want to speak out of turn. I mean, it wouldn't originate initially with the town. It would be this commission that would initiate the action, and maybe some additional requirements to actually to undertake a major transaction of the kind, as opposed to merely as a majority vote. It would be assets of this.
How are you?
Water pollution control authorities, the statute for which this body administers.
Andrew, do you think sometime in the future, next meeting or following meeting, we can get an assessment where we are financially on the sewer project itself? How far do we go with, phase 4?
We're spending $1 million on phase 4 very recently, and that taps us.
Pretty much the work that
You're there.
we
You can't put in the next pump station.
without going for more money.
And the next pump station is the one that's over near Brookfield?
Yes. It's another, it's another $1.3 million to finish off that part.
Was there any interest by Brookfield to tap into it?
There is. There is, but now they're the condominium association that borders Ridge Road is interested in not only connecting, but they're interested in having us run sewer main into their property to sewer their condos. What we're thinking about doing actually is perhaps putting the pump station in Ridge Road and relocating Ridge Road around the pump station so that we don't have to build in Brookfield at all. Maybe get an easement from the people on Ridge Road in Bethel to allow the road to shift over a little bit. And that might be the most cost-effective way to do things. we haven't approached those property owners in Bethel yet. We're still working with the condo association in good faith, but, you know, where at first they were saying, sure, we're interested in allowing you to put that there if you leave us a line to hook into, and we said, that's fine, you can deal with Danbury in terms of getting the flows allocated and stuff like that. But then they seemed like they were starting to change their tune to see how much they could squeeze out of Bethel in exchange for the land for the pump station. So that's why I said we're starting to look at alternate ways of putting a pump station in there.
Okay.
Just gotta bring it in.
Any more on financials?
No, we have to study it.
Any more on financials, Mr. Grimm?
Not at this time.
Mr. Michaels?
I'm through.
New business, Hickok Maple Avenue residential.
I have the plan. I'm not sure where this plan stands with planning and zoning and inland wetlands and all that. I didn't get a chance to talk with them about it before today's meeting, but we've had these plans for
2 years.
a little while in engineering. What they're, sorry about that. Here's Maple Avenue down here. I don't know if you're all familiar with this site. It's a farm court. Yeah, farm court's right here.
Right.
And Maple Avenue, I'm sorry, Hickok Avenue is over here.
Okay.
So there's a house.
This is the entrance, right?
Yeah, here's the house that's far off Hickok. There's a long driveway going down to this house. And what they originally wanted to do was have the driveway or the road going into this development come off Hickok. And because of the hue and cry over the traffic generator coming onto Hickok on a bad curve, they've moved the main entrance down to Maple.
They're not going to be able to hit the grade down.
It's tough. It's a tough site. However, what they are looking for from the Public Utilities Commission perspective, they're looking for approval to run the water main like this as a loop with a spur to feed the houses up here, and the sewer lines are in green, as shown.
Why do we want them to run it there? Why not to catch this?
Yeah.
Oh, you run it by, down, and then down. Get rid of all of this. It's all ledge in there. I don't want a water main in there. Look at the slopes.
Yeah. No, that's.
If they run it there and then drop it. That's crazy running it like that.
They could go like this and come around this way.
Yeah, run the loop right
That way it's a
come off Hickok and
simple
connect to
loop that
Maple.
way. And that can be the recommendation back.
You
to
got a
them.
dead spur there, you got a problem. You got a major problem. You're going to have dead water at the end.
Oh, pretty heavy usage.
You're still going to have you have the potential for dead water at the end. You get a line up there, those things may not sell for a long time. Your economy's going to go upside down.
Isn't it already upside down?
It's going to go upside down.
So you're talking, Bob, going this way around and coming back?
Drop it down, then you got a solid
Just
loop,
eliminate-
and it's
eliminate
always
spur.
running.
We can certainly.
Otherwise, you got a dead line in there.
We can
You run a
certainly,
dead line, you're looking for trouble.
We can certainly make that recommendation.
Plus, coming down over that ledge is crazy. You're going to bury it, it's going to move, because that's your and you're always going to have movement. Even if you get a breakdown in here, you shut off there, you still got a back, you're going to lose fill, you're going to lose everything. You set up a mudslide, you got all kinds of things. Tell me I'm wrong, Lon.
I can't see it.
Show it to Lenny.
We can take a look at it.
I think I did it a month or so ago.
The orange is stormwater retention and stormwater piping.
You ain't got no retention, it just runs off the hill now.
Bobby, this entrance down here, whose house is that here? Is
It's,
that-
you know where the three little houses are grouped? And then there's a fourth one that Jack Sutton used to live in? Just, the farm court went in past that one and Judge, it's right there, runs up between those two houses.
Okay, that farm there.
It's not a farm. You had Wixted, and then the other two houses, the tree guy was living in one of them. Right next to him there's a 50-foot right-of-way up in there.
Okay.
They'll never
What
catch
about
us.
Emart? You know, Emart's house, and then that kid Emart, that road. I don't know, I can't picture like my...
You know where Brundage lives?
Yeah, sewer allocation.
Brundage. What about, we're in Nolan?
Nolan's over here. Maple Avenue's here, and you start the corner, Nolan's over here.
Yeah.
Stuybe's here. Farm Court comes in like this. The Judd House is here. You got another house here. Then you got three little houses.
Oh, Franny
Three-row
Boucher.
houses.
That's Franny Boucher's
Yeah,
house.
right here. That's where it goes in.
Okay.
Right here.
All right.
And this is the, there's two houses.
Okay, I remember seeing something.
The sign was there.
Yes, okay. And that's a steep.
No, it's crazy. It's
like
nuts.
crazy
They
steep.
took all the gravel out of there behind
Yeah.
Brundage's and I want to say Pasternak, and that's not the name. There's a couple of girls and a boy that lived in
It's actually less name of the
the boy worked, he went to NAM, but he was supposed to work.
Never come to town.
Well, it's got to be close to...
Patno.
Oh, yeah.
You had Wixted, you had Boucher, and then you had Patno.
Okay, and they're right across the street, isn't Eddie Flynn?
Eddie Flynn was across the
Right across
street,
this very-
and then Eddie Stibe,
All right.
Nolan, and
Big cut over here. Yeah. I didn't even this way too, Steve.
yeah, run a straight loop.
It's-
Exactly. Now you're connected both ways.
Certainly doable.
You grabbed the pressure off Hickok and you let it run downhill. You
Yeah.
had pressure to all your plum trees, your flats, your Maple Avenue.
Yep.
The Maple Avenue extension gets pressure added to it. What's the name of the road up on the old railroad? Cindy Laney, what's the next one up? K-View.
Grandview.
Had pressure there. What are they looking for, an approval?
They're looking, for the approval for water and sewer. Their sewer allocation is adequate.
It's got to go back to planning and zoning, and all they're looking for is we have water and sewer available.
Yes. And any, certainly make the...
I make a motion to send to the Planning and Zoning Commission the fact that there's water and sewer available from Hickok Avenue to Maple Avenue for project, whatever the project is. I have a second.
I'll second it.
A motion made second. Any more discussion on it?
Make it clear in the motion that this doesn't grant approval for the
You want-
utilities.
It's not approval to the utilities,
It's just that they're
available.
But now this is 68A Maple Avenue and 32 Hickok Avenue.
Right. It is available, sewer and water is available, but they need to come in and work with the Public Utility Committee.
Detailed plans have yet to be approved by the Utilities Committee.
Exactly, that's the motion. The motion is to go back to planning and zoning since it's available, but we do not have detailed plans. Plans submitted are not sufficient. That's the motion that you seconded, Bill?
Yes.
Any more discussion? Hearing none. I'll move the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody has anything else to bring before this commission. We can go home.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Billy seconded it. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good night, Irene.
It's been an interesting 4 years.
Got a lot done.
Sure did.
Now you're in trouble.
Now I'm screwed.
That's all right, I got a consulting firm.